So you want to learn how to make a wooden spoon. I can help with that. Now I'm going to show you the easy way. Remember, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be able to scoop food into your mouth. The first step should be pretty obvious. You're going to have to pick a log. Make sure it's not a toxic log, unless you're just planning on doing this for a decoration. You're going to cut it to a manageable piece, and then you're going to begin chopping on it with your hatchet. And I recommend doing almost all of your work with a hatchet. If you wait till the very end to use a knife, it's going to save you a ton of time. So unless you want to be carving on your spoon for like a week, use your hatchet. First step is to get a nice flat surface so that you can draw out your specimen. This will be the handle. The bowl will be somewhere over here. It's going to be a serving spoon, so nice and long. Or if I'm reaching into my mountain house meal from backpacking and I didn't want to pack a spoon, this would be a quick and easy way to make one so I can still eat while I'm hiking those trails. And I'm trying to get it a nice consistent width. You can see where I'm holding my axe. I'm about the balance point to get some good leverage. I'm not way up here where I'm having to use a lot of arm strength, and I'm not way back here where I'm clumsy. I'm kind of in the center here where it's a nice angle. Now, this is not a wood carving axe per se. There are carpentry axes. This one's a bit heavy and a bit thick for really fine carving, but I think it's a beautiful axe. Hand forged, handmade. And yeah, I'll leave the name of the maker down at the bottom of the screen because I don't quite remember. I bought it used, but it's a phenomenal piece. So if you're interested in buying a hand-forged axe, definitely check these out. There is some debate whether or not you follow the grain structure. So this is the outer piece, this is the inner heartwood. I could put the bowl here or I could put the bowl here. I think I'm going to put the bowl here on this side, so I don't want to go any thinner than that. Any thinner than that, and I might have a hard time making an actual bowl. So even though the sun is going to go down soon, even though my time for filming is about to end, I am not going to rush. I'm still going to take my time, try to keep it consistent. Okay, now I take my pencil. I say, okay, well, I'm going to make, if I'm eating out of this, I make my bowl this big. I'm going to have to open my mouth really wide. So I might want to do something like this big, or this right here. And then obviously my handle will just, so I get a nice long spoon handle. So now I'm going to saw right along this line here. I'm going to saw lines right here and here, and what that's going to do is going to make it much easier to remove this material without accidentally busting my bowl. Be very gentle. Make sure I don't go too far. Bust out little pieces at a time that don't result in me accidentally busting through my bowl where I'm going to put my bowl. And hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm checking my drawing each time. I want to make sure I'm sticking to it. Now, the only way I know to remove this bit right here is to be very gentle and chop in this direction. Another way is using like a woodworking method where you kind of slice into it. that. Just at different lengths. Bust those out. Like that. At this point, you might be tempted to start making the bowl. That's the fun part. But in reality, we really should figure out the handle first. If you start thinning this out, you will break your bowl when you go to finish your handle. Trust me, I've done it. Hi. Yeah, that's my seat. Yeah, that's my seat. Yeah. Now at this point, we could bring out the sloyd to work at getting this handle a little bit smoother. Okay. It is now probably way too dark, but hopefully you can see, using this incredible sloyd knife from Orford combined with a hatchet, my spoon is looking pretty good in my opinion. It's going to work out really nicely, I think. It's going to have that nice long reach that I want, while also having a usable bowl. Now, one of the tricks is, you can see we thin out the handle quite a bit here. That's why I keep it thicker in this direction. So if you want to thin it out this way, you have to thicken it out this way. That's just kind of how it works to give it structure. So that's the method or the idea behind this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wrap it up in just a piece of cotton, like a bandana type thing. Wrap that up, stick it overnight to dry a little bit, and then we'll make the bowl tomorrow. Okay, it's the next morning, and I'm all set to continue. Now at this stage, I'm going to start carving out the bowl. You're going to want some kind of hook knife. You don't have to get anything super fancy at first. Get yourself something cheap, something easy. This is not exactly like a prime piece. Now this is actually, I'm borrowing it from my dad. I don't think he's ever even used it though. But yeah, get yourself a hook knife is going to make this a lot easier. You can do a burn bowl method where you basically put a piece of coal in there and blow on it and let it burn the bowl. Scrape it out, burn it, scrape it out, burn it. But that takes a while. This is much easier and it's cleaner. I chiseled these two notches out here. This way I can kind of lock my spoon in as I'm carving this. I always tend to slice my thumb when I'm doing this. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I don't really feel like doing that today. So the way this spoon knife works is we go cross grain. So we're gonna go this direction like this. And as if we were just scooping out ice cream, we're gonna take little pieces at a time and try to make it nice and clean. Now you can, so I've seen some people do this. They go this way, but I always tend to hit my thumb. So that's why I have these notches. I could do this. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about that. It's good depth. My full thumb submerged. Now it's time to put this away someplace safe and start thinning this material out around the bowl. Because As it is, yeah, that can carry stuff, but if I try to put that in my mouth, it's way too thick. You don't want to go too deep, otherwise you wind up with like a ladle. I want to kind of work in small chunks so that I don't accidentally bust through. Once I've cut for a while, I'm going to pinch the side of the bowl. There we go, so I'm right on the edge there. I don't want to get it any closer. Now, like I said, it does not have to be pretty. It has to be functional. That's our big concern, is that it's functional. And as long as it's functional, you've done your spoon just fine. You know, obviously there's a lot of artisans out there who, you know, are making spoons and wood carving spoons that are just gorgeous. But, you know, if you're sitting around a campfire, just got some basic tools, and you just want to whittle up a spoon to eat from, this is all you need. And the final step is add a little bit of oil. I'm using walnut oil, which is a food-safe oil. And this will just help protect the wood. I just want to use a little bit because it's a food-safe oil. Perfectly great to get on your hands and to soak into that wood. You can also use mineral oil, olive oil, pretty much any kind of oil that's food safe. And the nice thing is, this oil, if you pack it with you, you could then also use it to protect your carbon steel knives when you're out there camping. So it's always good to have a little dish, a little bottle of oil. Now, I did not sand this down, mainly because I figure if you're out camping, you're unlikely to pack sandpaper with you. So I'm trying to simulate if you're out camping, want to carve a spoon by a campfire, you're likely going to bring your knife, and that's about it. And then all I'm going to do is every so often after using this, I'm going to wipe it clean and put a little more oil on it. I'm not going to put this in a dishwasher. I'm not going to wash it with anything more than just some warm water and a towel. Otherwise, you're going to ruin it. So that's how we carve a spoon. I really appreciate you taking the time to join me. Hopefully this answers some questions and helped you out. Remember, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be able to scoop food in your mouth. And that's exactly what this can do. If you have any comments or questions, definitely leave them down below. I'd love to start a conversation about wood carving and woodworking, or anything bushcraft and survival. Appreciate you joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.